what? You've got the theme tune back.
Love it.
We are once again in the studio in Brighton. I'm joined today by David Blitz of E.T. Clay, Charlie Hooler, our producer, and this is the second half of our opening episode to Season 8. And across this season, we are going to be with you from the ground up, because we are going to be celebrating the people, the brands, the businesses and the amazing opportunities which exist within the wonderful building materials sector. So today, Dave, we're going to go that little bit deeper into your career and your journey, so where it started and where it began. We're also going to bring Charlie in as a young professional and just talk about what Charlie's achieved so far, and also what the future may look like for someone at that stage of their journey, and whether they're looking at it differently from when I was that age. Because for me, job security, progression, promotion, I want my gaffer's job.
Yep.
I want my gaffer's job. I want to get promoted. I want this, I want that. You all right?
Yeah, that's all right. Just dropping stuff all over the place.
That's all right, mate. Just throw it about. Charlie don't mind. That's all right.
We're all good.
We weren't allowed any hot or cold beverages, so he's learned from his mistake there. So we can't afford the insurance on it. So we're going to talk career pathways. We're going to talk about opportunities, and I think to set the scene for that, and we did talk about it yesterday at Leighton Orient Football Ground. And before I go on, actually, David, thank you so much for the invitation to Brisbane Road. Great fun. I was watching some of the videos Charlie took, and so the conversation, which I didn't know he was recording on the side of the pitch, where I was remembering my last visit there. Yeah. I worked it out when it was 27 years ago. Right, 27 years ago, and this is why Leighton. I think I said it yesterday. It's why Leighton Orient fans should believe, right? Because in that season, Fulham played Leighton Orient home and away, Brighton home and away, Brentford home and away. Yeah. We were lucky enough to get ourselves promoted. 3 of those 4 teams are now in the Premier League. Yep. So you've got to believe in it. But great welcome, great football club, great people. So when we talk football in the second half of the show, we'll make sure we give Leighton Orient a shout out. Absolutely. And all the brilliant people there as well. So, career pathways. If anyone's been on their socials this week, you would have seen a big announcement from Nike. And it's something which, again, it's something that gets celebrated, because Elliot Hill has actually gone on a journey which took him from intern to CEO at Nike. He joined Nike as an intern in 1988. 1988. Yeah. I was 13. 1988.
Charlie wasn't even thought of.
Over 22 years, he did 19 different jobs at Nike. He left them to gain experience outside Nike in 2020. He's rejoining them as president and CEO. And when you look at this journey, like the roles he's done, intern apparel sales rep from 88 to 1990, 2 years. Sales, sports and graphics for 1 year. Sales team, 3 years. Sales rep, 2 years. Sales management, 2 years. Gets good now. Director, team sports division, 2 years. Vice president, EMEA, sales and retail, 3 years. We're only at 2003 here.
But what's interesting, going back to what we said in the first episode, he's had lots and lots of different roles in a very short period of time. If we saw it on a CV, we'd question why has he moved? Actually, this is a whole progression to go from where he started to where he's finished.
And there's 14 years of this at Nike, and this is where it's interesting. Vice President and General Manager USA Retail, Vice President USA Commerce, only a year in each of those gigs. Vice President and General Manager North America, 3 years. He's getting into big boy roles now, isn't he? Yeah. President Geographies and Sales, 3 years. I
just love the job title.
President Geographies and Integrated Marketplace, 2 years. President Consumer and Marketplace. Incoming now, President and Chief Executive Officer, Nike.
President
and Chief Executive Officer. So I think when we look at that career, 14 years in one business, and then leaving the business and coming back to the business as probably a more shaped leader. You start to ask lots of questions, and I think this is one of the things we need to fix within the building materials industry, is understanding that may be attractive for one, but for someone else that may be terrifying. But we could really get something good out of those individuals for 12 months, for 36 months, for 2 years here, 2 years there. So what's your thoughts on that, Dave, in terms of, you know, giving people a chance to absorb something, move on, come back, or do you look for longevity of employment?
I think it really depends on the role. I think it depends on the individual as well. We've had people within our business that have stayed with us, so Jesse, for 20, 25 years, and we've had people that have been with us for a period of time, gone away, come back, and progressed and developed a lot quicker. Sometimes you find that to progress within a company, you almost need to sometimes go away to learn more, get better experience elsewhere, and then come back, as you said, with the night guy, more rounded, better understanding of the wider industry. For us as ET Clay, we've got people within our business now that have started with us as trainees or apprentices and moving and developing within the roles, going from sales coordinators to assistant managers. And we've got a young lady who's about to go on maternity leave, who started 18 years ago, when she was 18, she's quite young, 18 years ago as a sales junior, literally making the teas for customers and suppliers when they came in, to putting samples together. She's developed from that to be a sales coordinator, then assistant manager, then a manager, then a depot sales manager, then an area sales manager, and she's now a national sales manager. She's by far our best salesperson out on the road, always achieving target, really, really well respected within our business, but within the industry. And that is just one example of someone who's been in our company for 18 years. She could have left. She could have moved on and found a different role. She could have come back, but she's probably in the same way that the night guy's done. She stayed with it and progressed over an 18-year period and developed to where she is now. And, you know, Hayley's been an amazing member of staff, and she's off on maternity leave very soon. So
good luck, Hayley.
Hoping she comes back in. I told her she can have all of 2 weeks off for maternity. She
very generous of you, David.
Well, you know, I'd like to. Don't want to give too much away.
You are on point with modern employment law and benefit.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, it's very PLC.
Yeah.
So no, she when she comes back, she'll be back in the swing of things and ready to go again. But no, she's one example of someone in our business that has developed her career and understands the sector she works in and has grown massively.
It's an interesting one, that loyalty piece as well, because I've seen double-edged sword. I've seen both sides of this recently, because I've with some of the, and we can talk about them because the redundancies have been shocking. You know, there's been major job loss. There's been, with brands and businesses that we've known and love, are under pressure. They're disappearing. Yep. Some are being saved, some aren't. You know, for me, that you know, to see an independent, a Fulham-based, an independent that started with Hitchcock. It started with Fulham, Hitchcock and Kings. You know, something that had that big a local identity. And I mean, I know the family, mates of mine, close mates of mine are in the family there, and to see that business disappear, administrators called in, really hit home for me, and the vulnerability of it. But I think what I'm also acutely aware of, and it's very, very raw, is that there are individuals that have given 18 years, 15 years, 10 years of their career to an employer, and you know they're seeing it taken away from them because of the pressure that the industry's under. And that's when you look at that loyalty piece and you go, well, you know, where does it fit? The younger me begun his career I worked on my granddad's market stall. My first real job was at Travis Perkins, and I did a bit of admin, a bit of counter, a bit of in the yard. Worked out of most of those. I was probably not that good in the yard and okay at admin, but pretty good on the counter. So I think that was 93 when I was 18, and by the time it was 95, a couple of years later, I was like a trainee's business development rep, and then a young sales rep, then a more senior young sales rep, then a very young sales manager, then a more senior sales manager. Fast forward 9 3/4 years later, and I'm leaving Travis at director level to join their biggest competitor, Juicen, and run London at 27. Now, that's not bad. If I did one of those charts like the night guy, you'd go, wow, that's not bad. But then for the last 21 years, I've been running Foyne Jones, so it's kind of been a different journey for me. are we doing enough to attract the next generation in? And more importantly, when we've got talent in, are we giving them a chance to really grow above and beyond what we think's traditional? Because that's where I see the challenge is, are we going to be able to offer flexible working, really? Are we going to offer different diversity in roles, really? Can we bring in people from other sectors? Can we, Yeah,
I think we touched on last time that having the experience of, whether it be brick or any other materials that you're going to be selling, is a small part of the role. Having the ability to talk and communicate and sell and engage with people, that's so much more important than having the product knowledge. And I think one thing I think most of us in the sector realise is that we need to look further afield. We can't keep fishing in the same pond and asking for the same person who's been at that merchant and that merchant and that merchant. Actually, let's bring other people in, people who've got no knowledge of brick or sheet materials, whatever the product may be, and bring them into our business, because that's only going to develop what we do. And I think the more we do that, the more we engage with other sectors, the better we'll become. We're very much quite an archaic, I've said this before, quite an archaic sector. We're not with the IT world. We're still quite far behind that. I think we need to engage.
You just got to have a look on our walk up the stairs here.
Yeah.
Look at the energy that's in the area.
It's a completely different vibe.
You look at the different types of people, businesses, the way they're talking, the way they're greeting each other. That's like a different way of work to what I'm used to.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think it's very old school what we do. Yeah. It's very the whole mentality. Almost everyone in our sector works from an office. There is very little home working. And I know if you look at people like Amazon are changing their process from January 25, and everyone's going back into the office 5 days a week, or whatever the full-time equivalent is. But we're still probably 10, 15 years behind everyone else. And I think by bringing other people from different sectors into our sector would improve what we do and improve what we're trying to offer. Our sector is very much 10, 15 years behind the rest of the world, and I think we just need to bring...
I'll ask you a question. Why?
Because we haven't had to change. Is my gut feel. Yeah. We haven't had to change. We haven't needed to make massive changes to how we work. There's a few pockets here and there. You go, well, that's quite forward thinking, and it is compared to everything else around us. Actually, we're probably still a couple of steps behind. And as you said, when you walk around the studio here or downstairs and you feel the vibe of people walking around you, it's different than being in any other...
It's really true. But I mean, I get like really good builders merchant clients. They come into my office and it's like, it's like
so chilled.
It's like Google. It's like Amazon. I'm like going, what?
No,
I said,
but it's a contrast from what they
they're used to. And I go back, talk about 18-year-old me when I started at Travis in Fulham, mate. We had to clock in.
Yeah.
Clock in, clock out.
That was how many years ago?
Oh, mate, I was 30, 31
years ago. And there's still businesses within our sector that have that same process. You still clock in and clock out. You go back to sort of 1980s films in America when they're sitting clocking in and clocking out, Homer Simpson style clocking. Yeah. There's still companies doing that in our sector, clocking in and clocking out. And that's... I believe, and I've hopefully brought this into ET Clay, it wasn't always there, that I want that work-life balance. I can't have everyone working from home because I can't run a business that way. However, I want people to feel that they've got that balance, that if they need to work from home, if there's a justified reason to work from home, and unfortunately my forklift drivers can't do that because I'm not going to deliver bricks to their house, they can unload them and load them into a lorry. But the people that can work from home, realistically, there's no reason why they can't. And I think we need a bit more of that Google mentality within our sector than the clock in, clock out mentality.
I mean, it can go the other way. I'm just talking about my own personal experience. So there are times when I'm in my kind of studio officey space and it's me and the dog, me and Snoop, right? And I'm going, empty desk 1, empty desk 2. And Charlie's been there, I'm like, empty desk 3, empty desk 4. I'm like, empty desk 5. I'm going, right, well... Once you get your head round it, and the phone rings, but it's answered by someone who's not in the room, like you're like, oh, that's clever, and then you get calls put, and you go, but if it helps them in terms of their work life and how it goes, you get your head round it, you're okay.
But you have to have the confidence in your staff.
Yeah, and they've got to earn the trust,
and that's it. You can't from day one. You can't say everyone's working from home. Good luck. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. You have to, as you said, you've got to get the trust. You have to make sure they can physically work from home, because work from home isn't a given. It's not an easy thing to do. It's a balancing act between making sure that you can physically do it and have the time and the ability to manage your own time successfully, but you do need to give people that flexibility of work from home, and I think that's what we're trying to build within ET.
That's what we'll do in the second half of the episode, Dave, is we will talk about ET Clay. We'll talk about brickability and what the opportunities mean for people within those businesses interested in joining those businesses. We're also going to, I think, walk our way from the ground up. We're going to go on a Dave Blitz journey from the ground up. I think that's really, really important. And of course, we're going to be talking football, which means, Charlie, no kicking the ball away.
Yep.
All right,
mate, that's fine. I'm good at defending. Don't you worry.
Till the last minute.
Yeah, no kicking the ball away. No second yellows. We're gonna we'll get some football in there. But the powerful thing for me is that the builders merchant industry can offer so many different career pathways. It has amazing businesses, amazing brands, and if we talk more passionately about it and showcase it to the right people at the right time, there is something for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
There is something for everyone. We were talking earlier, and I was saying, I got a message late last night from someone I worked with back when I was 18, 19 years of age, whose son's now in his mid-20s and wants to come into our sector. So for me, that's something that I'm really passionate about. So I will make the time to talk to them, and I will tell them, for me, what it can bring. Because it can bring a lot. It really can bring a lot. And that's what we're going to explore in the second half of the show. So thanks for listening. We've got our sponsor, ET Clay, in the studio, David Blitz. Charlie, thanks very much. We'll see you after the break.
When it comes to bricks, there's only one company to speak with. ET Clay have something for every brick project. With over 400 products across our 2 depots, we are the builder's merchant, brick merchant.
Okay, welcome back to the Foyne Jones Show. This is Season 8 from the ground up, and we're joined by our sponsors, ET Clay, and we've got David Blitz in the studio. David, what I'd like to do now is I'm going to get every guest to do that. We're almost going to deconstruct your career. So we're going to talk about where it began. And I know you've got your hastily prepared notes, because I sprang this on him in the pre-show briefing, Charlie. Do you know what I mean? And we weren't pitch side, we were down there having a coffee. So it was. People were saying, did you see that? People were saying, "Oh, it looks like David signing for the club." Why am I the gaffer?
Yeah.
Why am I not the player?
Well,
maybe a bit pep about me.
Yeah, there's not many 49-year-olds signing, not many 44-year-olds signing at the moment either, to be fair. Yeah.
So I didn't get to play for Fulham. He didn't get to play for Tottenham or Leyton Orient or wherever it could have been. I mean, I would have played for anyone if they'd have had me, to be fair. I would have been happy. I would have had Enfield Town, any of them, mate.
Absolutely.
Any of them, Kingstonian, the lot. But if we talk about your career, Dave, what I'd like you to do is deconstruct that.
Okay.
Where did it start? And just take me on the journey.
Okay. So for me, I was always unsure where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do. And I think from school, I was probably a typical boy from school, in the sense of I could try harder, like to muck around, be the clown in class. But that was what my record of achievement usually said. And then my first real job, I opted to be an estate agent, which was a strange choice. I think the pull for that job was the number one factor. I got a company car. So I was 18 years old with a company car, which was a Peugeot 306, I think, from memory. So I probably paid more in tax than I got in salary. The salary was terrible. A good friend of mine was working for the same company. I thought, this sounds perfect. I'll be an estate agent. I did that for a couple of years, which was good.
You selling the houses?
I was on the.
Did you let any properties?
I did let a few.
What postcode were you doing?
So I was sort of in my hometown, so sort of IG all around there, and then moved into East London. So,
nice.
So it was enjoyable. I enjoyed it. So a few good years at Spice and McCall. A little plug. I don't know if they're still going, if I'm honest. I didn't send them down if it was me. And then from that, I went into recruitment. So I tried.
Great industry.
Oh, what an industry!
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. I worked for a small startup company based over in Old Street. Two guys, Mark and Keith. I think the names were. Yeah, Keith.
Near the Aquarium nightclub. Do you remember that? That was on Old Street, wasn't it?
No, I don't. No, don't remember that. There was a really good pub that used to squirt ice into your pint, which I remember. that was on a Friday evening before we got home.
That's the world of recruiter, mate. We're talking nightclubs and frozen pints.
So I did that, and then opted, after working for a few years, I saw a lot of my friends coming back from university, going out drinking. I said, I can't do that. I've got to go to work. So I opted to go to university for 3 years. So I did that and went down to Bournemouth. So I had a great...
So you had a little go at your career and then went to uni?
Yeah, so I sort of, my gap year was 3 years of working, I suppose. Well done. So I got a gap year out of it. So I went to Bournemouth, did 3 years down there, really enjoyed it, worked for Bournemouth Football Club for sort of a part-time thing during university days, or predominantly more spent time at a football club than I did at uni. Went to America coaching for a couple of summers, which was great, with a company called Challenger Sports. And then decided to get a job and wanted to, after doing my time at Bournemouth, wanted to get involved in football. So I was really passionate about football. I've done my coaching badges, spent a bit of time with the club, got to some sort of centre of excellence and a bit of scouting with the club down there. So I managed to get a full-time job with Crystal Palace. So I spent 18 months, 2 years at Crystal Palace. Really enjoyed it. Started working on the estate programmes, so working in social inclusion type projects. Left there and went into project management, so moved away from football and went into project management for Barnet Council. Did a few jobs in Barnet Council and similar settings, and then went to work for Shepherd's Bush Housing Group as a project manager, and then wanted to find a job that I could, and it sounds stupid now because I do it all the time, take home and work more. And Eddie from ET Clay, obviously my father-in-law, so neither of us promote. We were sitting down one day and an opportunity to work in his office as a sales coordinator, nothing more, nothing less, but with a progression and opportunity, if I was successful, if I was good, to move forward. So I joined ET Clay 14 years ago as a sales coordinator, went from sales coordinator to assistant manager. I spent a little bit of time on the road doing a business development role, became a sales manager, sales office manager, managing the team, understanding more about stock control and product development. Then went in to be commercial director. So I was director when I was 40. Oh, no, younger than that, 30-something now. And then in 2021, just right in the middle of COVID, I became the MD of ET Clay. So perfect time to take over the run of the business. And haven't looked back since. And almost 2 years ago, Eddie sold the business to part of Brickability. So we're now part of Brickability Group, and we fall within the Brick division. And it's been a progression since then. It's a brilliant company to be involved in. Brickability are a group that are very much involved in the sector, got businesses within almost every element of construction, from the brick side to the roof tiles to doors, windows, paving, cast stone, different facade systems, as well as the importing of products, people like Crest and Bespoke. So a real finger on the pulse within the construction sector. And it's been really, really enjoyable.
Every business I've been close to within Brickability, Taylor Maxwell, you guys, regardless, I've always been impressed by the people. I've always been impressed by kind of the clarity of thought and there's kind of always an energy there.
Yeah,
there's an energy there, and that seems to have come through. And they seem to have, where they've made their acquisitions, they kept the identities, and it works.
Well, I think that it would be very easy to take a business, strip it of its assets, which lots of companies now do, and then sort of bring it into be part of Brickability. However, our USP is not just having bricks or being able to sell bricks. It's the people within the business, and we're fortunate that they've allowed us to continue what we're doing, and allow us to develop and grow within our sector, within the group, and we work very closely with lots of other businesses within the group. And because of how we work in ET Clay and our customer type, lots of businesses within the group are our customers, but also on the import division side, lots of them are our suppliers. And the beauty of what we do is that we still work in the same way we did pre-acquisition. So we still buy from Crest or buy from Bespoke, and we still sell to Matching Brick, Alfie Brickmonger, CPG in the same way. There is, they're run as individual businesses, and we're set our own individual
How's the
targets.
transition been for you to obviously be working for the father-in-law?
Yep.
You know, private business.
Absolutely,
working for the father-in-law. 13, 14 years of growth, because you know, I mean, I made some notes as we were talking, right? So the love of Bournemouth comes through.
Yes.
And I have to say, I don't know if Bournemouth were in the 4th division back then, but Bournemouth were another team, right, that I've seen Fulham play in all 4 divisions of football. But for Division 4, Division 3, Division 2, Division 1.
Well, the reason I joined Bournemouth, he probably doesn't know it, is because an old school friend of mine who played for Bournemouth at the time, he's now at Newcastle, and the coaching staff, Stephen Purchase, was down there. I thought, it'd be great, I can watch Stephen play. Old school friends from years. So that was sort of the pull to go to Bournemouth.
Yeah.
But Bournemouth for me is I love Bournemouth.
Yeah.
I talk about it all the time. When we go down there with the kids, I tell them, I think I mentioned yesterday, this is where I used to live, and it's 20 plus years ago. And they really don't care.
Yeah.
My wife cares even less than that. But they don't care. And Dad, it's just a house.
Yeah.
And
I do that when I drive past the old flats. If I by Fulham Broadway, I'm going like, that's it. And like, no one cares.
But as we said yesterday, it doesn't
to
feel
me,
like 20 odd years ago, 30 years ago.
It's nostalgia. I go drive past the old pub, and no disrespect, but it's a Sainsbury's mini supermarket. Do you know what I mean? Drive past the other local, that's a Tesco.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what's going? Where's the working class boozers gone, Mr. Blitz? They're not there no more.
So working as ET Clay as a privately owned family business, it is different. I'm not going to say it isn't different. It is different. However, what we've managed to do is keep the family element within the business, and that doesn't mean.
So you've kept the identity and benefiting from being part of the bigger.
Yeah.
The bigger
so
group
we're benefiting from being part of Brickability, having the support and the mechanisms behind us. But we've still got the same way of working. Nothing's changed. If you speak to probably 95% of the staff, they probably have no indication that we're part of Brickability, apart from knowing we are. There's no change. For me, probably my FD and a couple of senior people within the business, Craig and Hayley, no one else really sees any real change on a regular basis. And it's the stuff that we're doing behind the scenes that hopefully sort of push us forward for the next few years.
Do you want to know something spooky?
Go on in.
When I left school in Fulham, I went to college in Kingston, and I had to do work experience. And I did it twice for an estate agent. And they offered me a job twice. They offered me a job when I was 16, turning 17, first year. And I said no. And they offered me a job when I was 17, turning 18. And I nearly said yes, but then they hit me with I'd have to work Saturdays.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Saturdays means I can't go Fulham. So I didn't become an estate agent, and I ended up working for a builder's merchant. But interestingly, on that builder's merchant journey, my first car, not a company car, but the first car I bought was a Peugeot.
There we go.
But it was a 205.
Oh,
so there.
Because you're older.
I weren't at estate agent. I weren't at estate agent level. Oh yeah, maybe it's how it evolves. But Charlie, just bringing you in here as someone from a younger generation, a talented professional from a younger generation. When you look at your career and what you've achieved so far and what you're looking for from the future, what's important to you, Charlie?
I would say, I mean, for me, it's trying to find a good work-life balance. So I've been self-employed for most of the last 3 years and have not found a good work-life balance. It's been so heavy on the work side of trying to just keep all of the balls in the air for a lot of the time that I just wasn't sleeping, wasn't looking after myself properly, and then trying to get music in the equation as well, as you know, is a big part of my life, like trying to make sure that I've got enough time to do that and give that enough of my time and attention. That's something that's a priority for me and affects my way of life and my mental health if I don't do it. Like, it's not negotiable. It's like I have to do it, I have to play.
It's who you are, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly that. So that's something, for better or for worse, I've got to work out how to get in there. And I thought that having the flexibility of being self-employed would allow me the opportunity to make it work and to balance it properly. What I didn't account for was the ridiculous workload that would come with it, and just ended up being inundated and swamped. I've been working full-time with one of my existing clients since the beginning of the year, and since I've been in a full-time role, I've found that the jobs, that the security and the security that comes with it has been really helpful, again, for the mental health, and the boundaries is actually really, with time and everything's been really helpful and healthy for the way in which I, when you're on the job and when you're off the job, like you were talking about clocking in, clocking out earlier, it's not the same, but there's similarities there. That's been helpful, but, there is a part of me that, like, I love running my own stuff, and that's something I'm sure I'll come back to again someday. I think what I'm looking for now, and actually which I was thinking about whilst you guys were talking there, is I think a lot of people who are starting their careers in the early stages and moving towards, late 20s as I am, are looking for that flexibility and that balance. Things like, are you able to work from home or work remotely? And can you, if you're going to give a lot, which I think a lot of people are desperate for jobs like now, and that means that when they get something that they're going to give their heart, their soul, and everything to it. So, one of the questions that comes with that is, how's it going to work for me in return? Like, I'll give more if I get more back. That's something that I found is like, I'll run through brick walls for the right employer.
Don't damage those walls.
He can always get you some new. He can help you build a new wall, mate.
I'll even match them for you. There we go. Not very well, but I'll match them. But I suppose
Sandy's dog. Have you heard about Missy the brick dog?
I thought we should get more of a mention.
Well, it's your dog. You should be mentioning her.
She runs through walls, does she?
She'll do anything.
Yeah, she's famous on LinkedIn.
She is. The worrying thing is,
no one talks about Sloop no more. Sloop's been forgotten.
No one cares about me.
I
was at Camtech Golf Day last week, and someone said to me, "Oh, where's Missy?" I said, "I'm playing golf."
We're playing golf, mate.
But more importantly, where is Missy? How is Missy? What's Missy doing? She's fine. She's okay. She's fine. She'll be back on the screen soon. But it's what you said earlier, or what you were just saying there, with regards to sort of living to work or working to live. I do think people are now wanting to get that career going, and really will throw themselves feet first into something and want to grow and want to develop, as long as the rewards are there, but that give and take mentality is there. So absolutely. People don't want to be, working 24/7 and feel like they're not getting that support mechanism behind the scenes. They really want to have that mix, and I think that's really important at the moment.
And it's part of innovation and the natural change and the natural course of things. And from what I've learned and seen from the industry, from working with you over the last few years, Pete, is how the people who work in it absolutely love it, and how ripe it is for innovation. Because there's things that, we discussed, like, are there things where we're like a little bit stuck in our ways, and it's a little bit bit outdated. That means it's absolutely ripe for putting in some new processes. Like, I love doing the podcast with you, and I think that's a really good thing for the industry, things like that, because it becomes something that's more in the digital space and introduces it into the industry in a really great way. I think more stuff like that, more opportunities where you can find ways to innovation, like maybe introducing more work from home policies. You'll find more, that'll be a gateway to all of the untapped talent that you're talking about. And
I think it's fantastic for Dave and I to hear that from Charlie. So he's met so many people that have come into the studio. We've gone on location, and there is a passion that comes through. There's a work ethic that comes through. There's a personality that comes through. There are some people from all different parts of the UK, different parts of society, different parts of the world. And there is an opportunity for us all to do better. The industry is doing the best it can, but I think individually, and this is where I always sort of think about, well, what can I change? What can I do differently? I can be positive. I can talk about what it means for someone. Charlie's absolutely spot on in terms of, you've got to play it so it's right for you. And what you said there, Charlie, about, quite rightly, you'll put your heart and soul in it, but what do I get in return? The biggest question a job seeker should ask is, what's in it for me? You know, what's in it for me? Because a lot of the time, if you spin it round, it's on the employer's terms. We want this amount of experience. We want this. We want that. We want this. And you will. Yeah. But okay, that's great. What am I going to get? How will I grow? How will I develop? How will I have fun? How's it going to help my family? So I think, Charlie, that was absolutely superb to get you involved in that.
Absolutely.
Mr. Blitz, the journey from trainee estate agent and recruiter to managing director.
I wasn't a trainee. I was a proper estate agent.
The journey from being a real estate agent on his 1 year stroke 3 year career gap.
Absolutely, yeah.
To where he is now sitting in the chair as managing director of ET Clay was fantastic. That was a brilliant section of the podcast. We're going to quickly talk football before we wrap up the show.
Superb.
Okay, the Foyne Jones Show wouldn't be the Foyne Jones Show without talking football.
Yep.
But, David, sadly, we are running out of time. So what we'll do, we'll give Charlie 2 yellows, which is standard for Arsenal, and we'll just give him a very short time. So anything you want to say about the season, Mr. Hula?
We got to stop getting stupid yellow cards, but the officials have got to be consistent in the way that they're giving them. I've seen 3 different occasions in the last 3 weeks where other players who don't play for Arsenal have been kicking the ball away and not getting yellow cards. As long as it's consistent, it's fine by me. I'm out.
He's out. There you go. 2 yellows. He's off.
He's gone.
David, you got 3 football clubs that are close to your heart, from what I can work out now. You've got AFC Bournemouth.
Yes.
You've got Leyton Orient, and you've got Tottenham Hotspur.
Yes.
So, who do you want to talk about?
We'll continue with Orient.
Yeah.
We'll continue. We do a lot with Orient, and it's a great club.
Shout out to Parr and the team at Orient.
Absolutely.
Lovely people to meet yesterday.
Absolute great guys. I'm there again tonight. Can't wait with my 2 boys.
Who you got tonight?
Peterborough.
Okay.
This is a replay.
The posh.
Yeah, replay because it got cancelled because of internationals, which is something you never had back in the olden days. League 1, League 2 internationals, but there are. So it's a replay. We've got tonight Peterborough. I'll probably get it wrong now. Wrexham on Saturday, which is a big one.
Yeah.
And then we've got a game again on Tuesday, which you're going to push me. It might be Bristol, but I might be wrong.
I'm not going to hold you to it.
We can edit that bit, but no.
Football's a wonderful thing. So I'm going to just say to Charlie, from a Fulham Football Club's perspective, thank you, because we've now got Iwobi, we've now got Smith Rowe, we've now got Reece Nelson, and they seem to be Leno in goal, and they just seem to be playing like a little Arsenal kind of training ground moves, and we're doing all right
until April.
We're doing all right. Yeah, we'll see what happens. They start getting yellow cards. We'll see how it goes. But I'm not unhappy with Fulham's start to the season.
Yeah.
We haven't been whacked by anyone, touch wood.
Yeah.
We were in it at Old Trafford until the last few minutes when they got a winner.
But I think it's just on the football analogies. It's known where you sit, doesn't it? So Fulham are never going to be for the next 5 or so years, and never going to be top 4. Same as Tottenham, fortunately. We're going to struggle to win the league, but we want to be 6 to.
Do you remember when Leicester
second.
won the Premier League with Robert Hoof and Wes Morgan at centre half?
Yeah,
I'm just putting it out there.
Yeah, I remember that.
Different Premier League.
It was
different era.
Yeah, but Fulham are going to struggle to break that top 4 anytime soon. So
this is motivational. Come back next week. No,
bad. No, insulting the host.
Yeah,
but I think I think they are going to struggle. However, what you want to be is that top 10 finish most seasons.
We have to be realistic. I mean, we're easy on the eye. We play attacking football. We've got a manager that
really
makes
good,
attacking.
really good manager.
Marco Silva makes attacking decisions. And that's what I like about him.
Going back to the recruitment scenario, so Marco Silva was sacked from Watford, from memory, is it?
Everton. He was at Hull. He was at Watford. He quit Watford to go Hull. He left Hull to go Everton.
And he got sacked from Everton.
He got quite harshly sacked by Everton.
And now he's found
and I think we rescued him from Olympiakos or Athens or someone like that, and he's back in the game.
So he's now showing that he has the ability, and had always had the ability to build a strong team and develop and grow players.
He marched us out of the. He marched us with Mitrovic. He marched us out of the Championship. I mean, we ran away with that title. He's kept us up for the 3rd season now. We got to the semi-final of the Cup last year against Liverpool, lost by 1 goal. This year we didn't do so well in that same Cup. We couldn't win a 34.
Penalty's still going on, I think.
Yeah, I think they're still taking. I mean, we lost that epic penalty shootout, but we've not. We gave away a stoppage time goal against West Ham, and we probably could have a few more points than what we've got. But if we carry on where we are, we're finished probably in the right place. So we'll see how it plays out. But I have to say now, I'm going to be looking out for Leyton Orient's results, and I want to get along to a game.
We'll get to a game,
Fulham
boys.
fixtures permitting, I really do want to get along to a game. So I think it's been an episode of 2 halves. It's been a fantastic football-themed way to talk about our industry. And our industry is about the people. It's about people like David, people like myself, even people like Charlie now that are getting to know the traits of it, the history of it. And from the ground up, we've got something very special that we should celebrate. David, I've got some gifts for you. Okay? I've got some gifts for you.
Should I be worried?
First of all,
it's going to be full of.
because I know you're going to be running again. So, first of all, I've got you a Jones Digital
Look at that.
running
I'll
shirt.
be wearing that with pride.
There you go. All right,
Beautiful.
That's very, very special.
Thank you. Really appreciate
Also,
that.
as you know, the industry turned yellow last week.
Yes.
For the
Yep.
wonderful Maddie Rose campaign.
Amazing.
Maddie was cruelly taken from us.
Absolutely.
And once a year, towards the end of September, we celebrate our industry, we celebrate Maddie's life. And we've commissioned some T-shirts
Amazing.
in partnership with Agency 53 and Publicity Engineers. Foyne Jones on the front. Maddie Rose campaign on the back.
Amazing.
When you're out running in the evening,
I'll be
mate,
wearing
no
that,
one's
mate.
going to crash into you in that one.
No,
There you go.
especially at my speed. Thank you, mate.
But then, Mr. Hula, the final piece, because this is like Christmas come early. This isn't his one-time appearance on the Foyne Jones Show. This isn't his two-time appearance on the Foyne Jones Show. It's actually his four-time appearance,
Yeah.
but it's his third time in the
it a
studio.
hat-trick? Is it
It's
a
his
hat-trick?
third time in the
It's a
studio.
hat-trick.
He's got a hat-trick ball.
Look at this.
David Blitz.
Wow. Kids are going to be happy.
There you go, mate. Full house.
Superb.
This was episode 2 of season 8 of the Foyne Jones Show, where we are celebrating our industry from the ground up. Charlie Hool, I'll see you next time. David Blitz, always a pleasure, never a chore.
Thank you,
Take
mate.
care.